Hey there, my sweet friends. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I hope you're all well, and I'm wishing everyone a happy halfway to Halloween. I know that I'm about a week late. It's meant to be on May 1st, but I did get distracted with all that new paper from the order, and you know how that goes. I did have to get into it. So we're going to celebrate today, and I have the funnest pocket folio. This is easy to put together, and it helped me to crash a collection and get use out of most of it. So I'm very happy about that. It does help me to make room for new collections for our 13 Days of Halloween series that we host in September. And of course, you can use any collection you like. So this does not have to be a Halloween project. It's a very versatile. And so if that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. So here's that collection I mentioned. It's Monster Mash from Echo Park, and I did really get through quite a lot of it. You can see that I still have a little bit left, and what I think I'm going to do is combine all of my collections that are nearly used up into one project, so I can crash those collections and combine them into one project. So I will definitely be sharing that later on when it's closer to Halloween. Now, when we make our bases, we would typically be assembling the whole base first and then add the pattern papers as we go along. But because this folio has so many pockets and we need to work our pattern papers underneath those flaps, we're just going to work along and adding the pattern paper and then bringing all of these separate sections together. And you will see that we'll have 3 different page types, 2 of which will have pockets and 1 will be a connector. So we're first going to start with this piece. Now this is 6 inches high by 12 inches wide. It's scored at 2 and also 7. And so we're going to get a nice generous pocket here on the side. And I do want to cover that, of course, with our pattern paper. Now I am just going to alternate the A and B sides of these so I know that they will coordinate well and I get a lot of use out of those patterns. So for the full-size pages, the paper is going to be 5 7/8 by 4 7/8, and we're just going to drop that right on the page, and we'll get a nice border of that black cardstock. And now I found that it's quite a lot easier to seal up the pocket before attempting to put that pattern paper on, so you can have a flat surface to get that situated where you want. And so I am going to be using my Tombow for this. You do want a good adhesive here so that you can put a lot of things in the pocket and it will be well secured. So I'm just keeping that in from the edge so it doesn't splooge out and make a mess. Now either use your clips for this so that you can hold these together while the glue sets up, or you can just sit here and hold that to make sure that's well secured. And then you do want to cover the front of that pocket as well. So this is going to be the measurement for the vertical pocket. It's 5 7/8 by 1 7/8. And I'm just being very aware of how this direction is going to go so that I don't wind up with upside down skeletons on this. So this is going to be our first page type, and we're going to have 2 of these for each side for a total of 4, and we need a way to connect these. So I am going to be creating a connector in this paper, and this page is going to be 6 high by 10 wide and scored at 5, and we're going to continue to have the same full-size page measurement. So that is the connector piece, and we'll need 2 of these, 1 for either side. Here is that second pocket page, and I did think it would be fun to alternate what side the pocket is on. So we're going to switch that flap over to the right for this one, and we're going to continue working with that same sheet of paper, but we're going to alternate the pattern on the page and the pocket so that we get a similar but different look. That helps me to be very frugal with this collection and get good use out of it and not be wasteful. We'll seal that pocket up. Give that a minute for the glue to set, and then finish that pocket with that last little strip. It's nice on these papers that the A and B sides were very contrasting, so I can put these together and it won't look very busy. So here is that second vertical pocket page. The last page type that we have is going to be a horizontal pocket. So we have our pattern paper for the back, and this pocket will run along the bottom, and then seal that up the same as you did for the previous two pockets. Now this measurement will change for the horizontal pockets, and so this is going to be 1 7/8 high by 4 7/8 wide. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is bring these together. So I'm going to use a combination of my double-sided tape along with my Tombow for my 2-glue combo, and that will make sure that this is very secure. So there is my double-sided tape and a nice amount of my Tombow. The next piece that we're going to add is that connector. Bring that corner together. Make sure that is straight and even along the bottom and the side. Now that double-sided tape will hold that together so we can continue to work along while that glue sets up. And so now I want to add the second pocket page. Keeping in mind where that pocket is designed to go on the outside. And adhere that the same you did for the first two pieces. Because this is a 5 by 6 finish size, you could easily use your 6 by 6 paper pads. You would just have to cut some different patterns to cover those pockets, but I think this would be a great way to use it up. And you know, I do like to make sure to get use out of things and make room for new supplies. So that would be a great way to use up a 6 by 6 paper pad. Now we're going to add our horizontal page. Still working with our 2-glue combo. So let's just flip through there. We've got a pocket on the left, our connector page, a pocket on the right, and then our horizontal pocket, and these will show in the middle. Want to bring those together, we've got to have some kind of cover. And so I have this piece cut to be 6 high by 10.5 wide. It's scored at 5 and 5.5. I do want to add some of that pattern paper for the spine, not only to give it a nice finished look, but also add some layers of paper to make it a little bit sturdier. And so this is a little bit of a smaller strip, and I'm just going to give you the measurement, and I'm going to pull it closer to me so that I can see over top of it to get it centered. But this is going to be 5 7/8 by 3/8. And so we're going to continue to have that nice border, and then our cover spine will be much more sturdy. You have one for the inside and the outside, just so it will have a nice finished look. You could also add some string on here, I think, and add some fun seasonal charms if you wanted to decorate the spine a little bit. So now that we have that done, I do want to add my separate sections to the book here. And so I'm going to add more of my double-sided tape. So now I want to bring this section into the book. I think it's easier to fold on that score line so you can get that position right down into the corner. and then press that so you get a good contact. So here's that other section that I have created, and I just wanted to share with you the papers. And this is made with the same process and measurements, and I am being careful to keep my pages opening toward the outside. And so I will adhere this in the exact same process. Lifting it up and adding it right along that score line. This has gotten very chunky and very thick very quickly, and so that is perfect. Now we have all of our pages here to open, and then for this side as well, and so that is perfect. Now I do want to cover the outside with that collection paper, and so I have those cut. It's the same measurement for the full-size pages, and we're going to get that nice border of our black cardstock along with the pattern paper. And you can see that I coordinated the paper that I added to the spine, so it would have a nice consistent finish look. Let's flip that open and add some of those journal cut parts. These are a perfect way to get through a lot of these because we have quite a few pockets to fill. So I'm just going to pick something that sort of contrasts there, and that way they will be easily noticeable. Put this one here. There's room in those pockets for additional items that are like flat keepsake or mementos. Let's put this one here. And here is for our last page. Okay, now I want to add some details for the cover. Of course, I have a pretty little white doily that was cut from cardstock, and that helps to break up those patterns on the front so that we can have a nice focal image. Now for our focal image, I did use one of those image cut-aparts and used a circular die for that, along with a nested die that will give us a nice border there. And then I did add some spacers to the back so that we can get some dimension. That's just going to go right in the middle of that doily. I created a flower arrangement, much as I do with all of my other cards, but I just switched out the colors of the flowers to be a little bit more spectacular. And so I've got grays and oranges, and I did incorporate some glitter cardstock just for a little bit of extra sparkle. Of course, I have my netting and my loopy twine bows, and this one is the bold check plaid ribbon from Really Reasonable Ribbon, and I think it works perfectly. Now the size of circle die that I have sometimes cuts off the edge of an image, but we're just going to cover that with our flower arrangement so no one will know that it is not the full circle. That's really going to anchor the bottom of that cover. And I also brought a couple of little charms here, spider web and a jack-o'-lantern, and I want to sort of overlap the top of that image. So I'll add those with string, lay those in a little bit of hot glue. Clip the excess, and then cover those cut ends with a button. I brought down a couple of choices for sequins, and I don't know which one I think I like best. I think those white ones will get a little bit lost with the moon, and then I think these orange ones are a little bit too small, so I'm going to stick with these gray ones. And this will help give it a little bit of extra sparkle as well. I'll put two down on the base, and then one on the raised section there where our focal image is. I'm going to add those with Tombow. That's going to be it for today. If you enjoyed this project and you want to see more from my channel, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And remember to check the description for links for our products and our socials. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.